I literally cried more over this than when my grandma died. It's all good though. She threw the jade. You guys might say I crossed a line or that I'm being dramatic. I would argue against that though. Didn't you just hear me explain Granny through latitude? Should be enough of a justification. Still think that's extreme? Okay, fine. I want you to think back to a time you lost one of your favorite discs. One of those times that still haunts you because you weren't quite sure where it went, but you were with a group of three and the stoner pack was on your tail rushing you with more beer than frisbees. Nothing, and I mean nothing, is worse than losing a disc that is near and dear to your heart. The bond that is created between plastic and man is unable to be recreated. I wanted to see if I was the only person who experienced this type of pain, and just like I suspected, I was not alone. Look at all these people voluntarily telling the story of loved discs they parted with too soon. But I feel no type of way for those that lost their first Ace disc. Absolutely no sympathy. Although, I could sense the tears from Disc Golf Jesus all the way down in Kentucky after reading this comment. Totally understandable since that was the first ever groove ace he'd ever hit. Also, it happened to be in an abandoned prison. On top of that, it was a disc I gifted him back in 2019. Randomly the other day at League, a new guy came. He happened to be telling a story about discs that were donated to his middle school gym class. Of course, being me, I asked what the craziest disc he received was. Funny enough, he said a yellow groove, but that wasn't the crazy part. He said written on it said, "Why would you throw this?" Excitedly, he said there was a signature underneath too, but he couldn't make it out, so he had to look it up. And before he even said the last part of his story, I calmly said, "It was Simon Lizotte. I lost that disc 5 years ago." Well, Jesus did, but same thing. Pretty wild stuff, but still insane to me the guy didn't offer to return the disc. Am I crazy to think that? Tearing a relationship that strong apart leaves nothing but sorrow. Imagine the smile on someone's face when you return not only their disc, but one of their favorites. Probably fixes the depression it caused originally, which is exactly how I was feeling in this moment. Personally, if I was the course designer, I would have made it very aware of the massive drop you can't see from the tee.
Dude, it just kept going, bro. It just kept going. The T sign should have said, if you go along, your disc is fucking gone into the oblivion. So we're gonna go on a little adventure trying to find that popcorn because I don't want to lose that thing. So you saw how steep it was down to the basket. Then you add this level of steepness. Then you walk to this and you realize there's a fucking creek and all sorts of shit. And it could be anywhere in this. Literally, I'd chuck that thing.
You know, the first tell if a disc is truly a favorite is how long you're willing to look for it. If you give up right away, then I don't want to hear any bullshit about how sad you are. There's about 3 discs in my bag that I would not leave the course without.
Not looking good, folks. These 3 discs I will literally not leave if they're not in my bag. Those being, first, the prototype honey I got from Disc Golf Jesus. It replaced the old proto honey that I had that was money. Nothing touches that disc. Next, then, being this 2021 Sexton Firebird. It's been in the bag since they've came out. It's the first one I got. And then lastly, the disc that's been in my bag since the very first in the bag I ever created. I have this Star Destroyer that flies like any Roadrunner or super flippy disc, and it's been in my bag, like I said, in my entire life, basically. I will kill anybody for those frisbees. Literally any person alive. I will murder on the spot if they think they're going to take any of those from me. So, pretty serious.
I would literally rather look in the pitch black with the flashlight of my phone than go home without these. So when I say I thoroughly searched for the popcorn, I did. This has been a staple on the channel for months now, and I just got comfortable with a throwing putter for the first time in my career. However, some discs, even though important, have circumstances that prevent me from giving my absolute all. Plus, I had an alternative idea.
Holy shit. Well, that was an hour, and I really didn't want to do this, but I think it's time for plan B. Let's see if he answers. Hello.
What up, buddy?
So I really didn't want to do this, but I'm in a position right now. So I've just looked for that damn popcorn for like an hour.
No shit.
Yeah, I think I threw it off this cliff. And do you have any more popcorns?
Let me see what I got. I may have one more.
Okay.
I won't have time to put a die on it, but it's definitely yours.
Okay, I appreciate that, my guy. All right, maybe. It's a maybe. Shout out Ink Me Dies. This video is now sponsored by Ink Me Dies. If I get it, of course.
So for some reason, I'm good at getting free discs. I consider it a talent, really. And this was the score from Idlewild. Big shout out to Ink Me Dies for absolutely plugging it up. The biggest supporter of the channel by far, and one of the best ambassadors for the sport as a whole. If you want a sick die, go check out my boy. It's impossible to be disappointed. That pickup line doesn't work nearly as much as you would think. Christen is the homie you need in your life. And I'm not only saying that because he gave me 8 free discs. Well, kinda. Because most of us at one point have had a sugar daddy like this before. The type of disc golfer that buys whatever new comes out, throws it maybe 3 times just to find out they're gonna keep bagging the same beat the shit buzz. Then we'll just give away the new stuff so it'll actually be thrown. Wild behavior. But just like every foot fault I see, no reason to call it out. The reason I first met Christen was to throw over his road. Can't believe they ever doubted me. And now, we're homies for life. But bro, there's no way I could keep quiet when you jumped your way over to the Pixel bandwagon. I'm getting this over with now. I'm not giving a pass for any of your die jobs. I'm not saying it doesn't look sick as fuck, but that doesn't excuse a shitty disc. So Bullet Bill might be better off in the water. You bagging an Echo doesn't surprise me. Yeah, that was supposed to be an insult, and should be interpreted that way. How the hell are we friends when you have a pig in the bag? I'll give you the pig pass though. And you should feel honored. I only have one of those things. You bought me enough shit though, so feels fair. But now, we're even. You got 10 discs left in your bag, and they're all MVP. Axiom is the same shit. I don't care what anyone says. Just like you shouldn't listen to whoever told you the uplink was worth bagging. You already have the paradox. I know the MVP cucks like throwing every mold possible, but no need for the overlapping. That's one less gyro in your bag after all. The pyro? Baby Keem would call you a hooligan with all the 5 speeds you got going on. For anyone that gets that joke, just know, I love you. I made an entire video discussing the crave, so go watch that if you want to hear what I have to say. You throw the rhythm like every white couple dropping acid for the first time at a Grateful Dead cover band concert. Kinda like most people's form. Flailing all around with no control or idea where it will end up. The Insanity used to be my brother's go-to driver, and he's the best non-disc golfer I've ever met. And then you have the same exact disc again, except this one says trance. Every person that throws the wave tells me it's a Wraith. Now I don't know if that's their way of getting me to like the disc or not, but it's working. Throwback to the days of making YouTube videos with a broken orbital. The grind never stops. But you throwing this disc really should. And then for some reason you have a 150 gram time lapse. Yeah, not sure why any fucking person would have that shit anywhere near them, but here we are. Idlewild to be exact. And I played such a shitty round. So bad, I don't even want to show you the scorecard. To be fair, that's what happens when you start at 7 in the morning and play with new discs. Call me a child, but I would be stupid to not test out the new plastic Christen got me. But just so you guys can be on the same page, here's what I slipped in for the round.
Couple quick additions to the bag before we jump into Idlewild. I got 2 new popcorns to replace my lost one. Then I got an understable fairway and an essence in a dark color, so hopefully this one doesn't get too lost too soon. But I needed something to flip up in woods with not a whole lot of power. And then I got a stable fairway. I should block out this person's phone number. Got it from my boy Mustache Man. Got a sombrero on there. He told me it was the most stable one that he had, and that's what I wanted. Got this Wild Honey, brand new. I'm gonna see what a brand new stock stamp Wild Honey flies like, because funny enough, I've never thrown one. Last one in the bag right here, we have, this is sick, dyed Destroyer from Ink Me. It's just, I needed a blank Destroyer and I needed a new Ink Me die in my bag, so there you go. Oh wait, yeah, and I also got this. Yeah, I picked up a new 2021 Sexton. I found this in the used bin. That's everything for Idlewild.
This wasn't the first time I played Idlewild. Actually, that time would be with Swiss Cheese and Disc Golf Jesus. Although, that was the entire 24-hole layout, and I gotta be honest, I enjoyed the DGPT layout way more. Felt like some of the filler holes were removed, and I enjoyed the times they combined holes. To me, hole 3 turns from a hard par 3 to an awesome par 4 when smashed together with the easier birdie hole that is 4. Or the addition of this hole, which gets more water into play. Hard to argue that these are worse than the OG in my opinion. But the best part is, on a typical day, you can play whichever one you want. Great for the everyday player. It would happen to suck if they found themselves here, however. This course is a beast. When you don't get past the first available gap, you're extra scrambling. Every time I've played Idlewild, I've told myself there's no reason to come back. And that's not changing this time. And I can just about guarantee I'll be back next year. Since this is the first big course I played on the road trip, I'm adding it to the ranking, and it gets the number 1 spot, but I don't see that lasting very long. I'm headed to play the number 1 course in Ohio, so make sure to subscribe to not miss out on that video. Oh yeah, and if you want to see me throwing a glitch, check out the video right here.
Get off of it.